Ready. So here we are, guys. This is episode 6 of the Tennessee Titans UK Fans podcast. I'm joined once again by David and James, who have been very vocal on the Facebook page on Sunday nights because I think there was lots of frustrations with the result. So, guys, the first game of the season has finally been here and gone. It was 2012 to the Denver Broncos. Now, I've got a few thoughts on the game, which I'm sure lots of people are going to share the same kind of thoughts. There was lots of frustrations. A game, I think, before the game, I know my prediction of 31-7 was completely out the window quite early on, where I was very disappointed with, and I got a bit of abuse on TikTok for that, which was quite rightly deserved by Broncos fans. Um, okay, it was maybe I was a bit over the top there, my thought process, but actually watching the game, I actually think we were in that game for quite a bit, and it was poor play calling, poor decisions, game management kind of cost us the game. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Do you think that's kind of the same that we could have won that? I mean, the Broncos looked good, but they weren't as good as what I was expecting.
I think they played very well for a large part of the game. I mean, really, we were in it up until we 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 got their fumbled punt and we were at the 24-yard line. Then it was reverse gear from then. Three bad plays, poor punt, and then the first play they do off that 50-yard run, and the game was out of our reach. We even though no yards, if we'd scored the field goal, I think it could have been a vastly different game. We could have easily won it, and probably for the amount of possession we had in their half, we should have won it. Obviously, we made far too many mistakes throughout the game, but I was pleased with the performance. I thought for a first game of the season against a really tough defense, we held our own, and we had a chance to win. We're in a chance to win it, but we didn't succeed.
What are your
Yeah.
thoughts, James? You same as everyone else, to take it.
Uh, I mean, I didn't think we were going to win from the very beginning. I set myself a thing of if we can be in within one score, then I'll be happy with that. Just because of how the Broncos played towards the end of last season, they were really good. People are tipping them to actually beat the Chiefs in their division and to win that division. So they are a solid team, and their defense is incredible. Um, but I think the thing for me that made it so disappointing was that we were in it. We had a chance. I think that's what makes me more disappointed with the loss than what I thought I was going to be. I was going into the game week thinking, "Oh, this is it as a loss." As I said in the last podcast, I think our season starts in week 3. The first 2 games for me are a write-off. I just want to just see something good, and then, but I don't see us winning. But to be so close, kind of just makes me come away from that game a little bit disappointed. And as you say, it was a lot of errors, and there's things I just don't understand why we're going wrong in week 1. Like so many drops, so many bad like play calling and mistakes from the coaching staff. It was just a culmination of a lot of things that just went wrong. And I feel like what they were talking about pre-season about the getting rid of our sins, and they're very
Penalties.
vocal about this whole thing of we need to get rid of our sins and we need to make sure that was the whole talk about the pre-season. And we go in and we made 4 more yards offensively than we did giving away penalties. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. And it was just it was just too much in the end. And I think it was the penalties. Yeah, it was just stupid. It was just a good game ruined by stupid mistakes across the board. Players, coaches, referees. Uh, it was a bad game across the board. And the only person I think come out of it like smelling of roses was Cam Ward. He was incredible. I think it was the little check down play he put to Pollard. Oh, that was it. I was done. I was like, it's him. He's him. That's it. It's franchise. This is it. We've got him for years.
Well, see,
Going
this
super.
this this is the problem though. Like you say, he looked good, And you can see with his mannerisms, the way he was kind of walking across the pitch, the way his body was facing. He had it all there, but then now we've got to get the team around him now, haven't we? So it's all right having a really good quarterback, but if we're not going to give him the tools and give him the right plays, it's a waste of time, isn't it? You may as well not bother if you're just going to send him out there to go do something, but then not kind of give him the access to the tools and the plays to do it. And it's like Ridley didn't get into the game, and I read somewhere. Um, I think it was one of the coaches, I can't remember, he said now. He said, "Oh yeah, they kind of marked him out of the game." And I was like, "Well, you're the coach of the Titans. If that's happening, it's your job to unmark him out of the game and come up with another game plan to get past that." Because Ridley, I know everyone was saying that he was going to be like Cam's biggest target, and he wasn't in the end, was he? I mean, I've got some stats in front of me here somewhere. Sorry, I've lost it now.
I think he had 9 targets, and Ayamana had 8 targets.
I mean, yeah, Ridley got 4 receptions for 27 yards, and it's like, well, 27 yards, it's not a lot, really, is it? I mean, it's all right if it's 27 yards if there's 4 touchdowns involved in it, but when it's 27 yards over the whole game, it's quite poor, isn't it? So, I mean, they can say they kind of marked him out of the game. Well, how do other teams manage to get their wide receivers not marked out of the game? Callahan's got to find a way to kind of get out of it. I mean, I mentioned Callahan. I did a TikTok the other day, and obviously, I'm not in the Callahan out brigade at the moment. Wouldn't be very fair on a young quarterback. I know it's his first game. It's, although I say it's first game of the season, it's almost like it's rolled on from last season. Some of the mistakes. Your guys, what are your thoughts on Callahan? Do you think early on it could be in trouble, or do you think he's going to get the season?
Well, depends how the season goes or how long he lasts. But he obviously made two poor decisions. Or the last drive of the first half that they had, where
Oh,
he should have just run the clock. Everyone, I think anybody watching said, run the clock out. We had enough time, even though they had timeouts, to run it, 3 dummy plays and times out. He didn't do that. They got the ball back and scored, and that was a killer, really. Otherwise, we'd have gone to 6-3 at half. And then the other one was obviously the Ayamana catch that was his elbow was down. I mean, I have doubts whether it would have been overturned unless there was a definitive angle from the other side that showed a bit of green between his elbow. But he definitely should have challenged that
well, that's it. I mean,
because
you saw the other coach. I mean, his challenge flag was it 12 times he challenged in the game, was it? And he
yeah.
won 11 of the 12. Yeah, he wasn't scared just to throw it out there. But I mean, I did read that. I know Callahan said he should have knew the rules and whatever, but it was the technical director as well who watches the game. He didn't know the rule either, apparently. So it wasn't just
Oh,
Callahan. It was the guy above who was watching who didn't know either. So it's
well,
kind of
there was a guy. If you watch the film, there's a guy standing there who thinks it's a catch, and surely he should be going over to Callahan and saying to him, "Yeah,
yeah,
look,
challenge it. Yeah.
you need to challenge it." He was down. He was in. He was
And like I say, if,
touched.
if you're if you're already losing, what's the harm in throwing a challenge in and riding your luck and hoping? Sometimes you see things that aren't quite right and the challenge and they win it. So yeah, just have a punt at it and see what happens.
I think he's just. I don't know with Callahan. I like him, but I think I like him as a person because of just with Titans fans. You always hear the ones that are very vocal and the ones that just want to talk about all the bad decisions everyone makes, and no one really gets a chance because Vrabel was our guy, and anyone that came in was going to get hated. And I want him to do well. He speaks nicely. He seems like a genuine guy, but I'm not too bothered about the not knowing the rule thing. Like he
There's
came
a
out,
lot
he
of rules in
owned it.
American football, isn't there? There's a
Yeah,
lot to take on.
I mean, he should know it, but it was he made a mistake. For me, move on. He's done. He's owned it. He's moved. We should move on. For me, the biggest mistake was the before half time running those three
Mm.
throws. But kind of like coming back to the Ridley thing, Ridley wasn't marked out of the game. Like Ridley was targeted 9 times. That was the most out of all of our receivers. He dropped the ball countless times.
Mm.
He was in clear space, but dropped the ball. Like he was he had the number one targets, and he dropped the ball the most. And I don't see if he caught all those plays. I think the majority would he drop four? I
Yeah, he
think
got his hand on quite a few, didn't he?
and that each one of them would have been a first down, which would have added on another 10 yards to the thing. And some of them, he was in clear space. So if he just got his hands on it and brought it in, he would have been off. I just don't. I don't think he was. O line struggled, but our receivers, I think, made enough separation. They did have the best cornerback on Ridley, but you never saw Lockett, never saw Jefferson. The only person you really saw was Ironmanner. Like that's the
Yeah,
only one, that's the only receiver we really saw.
I mean, Helm called a punt. Yeah, the one in the first half or first quarter on the first drive that was ruled a catch and then overturned, and he caught another one, I think, on the next drive. But he was never targeted again in the whole match. I mean, surely, you know, he was around and they should have been at least targeting, but they didn't get anything. I mean, the problem was that Ward was in trouble from, I would say, about 60% of the time. He sort of moved, took a step back, and there was a man coming in his face, and he had to wriggle to get around it and sort of flick a pass where he didn't really have time to set or anything, and it was just off, just offline. So a lot of it stems from the offensive line rather than a lack of coaching and picking out players.
I'm just looking now, and I apologize. Ridley was targeted 8 times. Ironmanner was 7 times. Chig was 4. Chig was the most productive out of all of them. At least he caught 3. I know he dropped one horrific one, but he caught 3. But yeah, it was pretty poor showing. The best play we had was probably that one, the check down to Pollard, which I thought
Yeah.
was incredible. That was elite level quarterback. He's just under pressure, pocket collapse. He kind of went into it and then just popped out to the side. Well, Pollard did a lot of it, but just great. Do you know that first moment he did that? All that went through my mind was when Levis chucked the ball like laterally against the Bears and did the pick six. That's all that went through my head. It's like, what are you doing? But that was instantly changed to just pure, this guy's him. This is it. This is like, it was that different mentality. And yeah, Cam Ward's him. I think I saw a stat saying that he was the third most accurate quarterback
Yeah, I think I saw that as well, actually. Yeah,
in the first game weeks. He's the third most accurate, which just shows how bad our receivers were. Like, and it was a bad across the line. Like, Helm's supposed to be like really good. Everyone's like hype about Helm, but he's a tight end. He couldn't block to save his life. Right? Doesn't say much about the rest of the team that didn't block, apart from Skoronski. Credit to him. That big man, he's doing bits, but Helm just let the guy walk past. Like we've got players that, and there was one play where three of our wide receivers went to block one guy. Like it just seemed such a just they just
organised
weren't
chaos.
ready. They weren't ready, and this is this when I in the last podcast when I say I want players, I want the first team to be taking reps in that last game and play a good amount of time just so they're on it, and it just felt like our team just didn't had no symmetry. There was like it just they
I
weren't
see the problem is you can't play the first 3 or 4 games, lose the first 3 or 4 games, and then suddenly gel because by then you've got into that rut of losing games, haven't you? So you kind of that's why you're saying that in the last preseason game, get the guys ready, get the guys kind of ready for it. So then by the first 2 games, you're then gelling. It was amazing to me in NFL how I know it's a long season, 17 games. It's quite a grueling season, just regular season, obviously. I'll be lucky to get the playoffs. It's quite a grueling season, but again, I don't know how they can go from kind of like end of January to August, September without playing a game. I know you can train as much as you want sometimes, can't you? But you know, training with your teammates is different to competing against somebody who's desperate to beat you on the pitch. It's a different ball game, isn't it?
I mean, Cam's not had that level of edge coming at him like it's ever. He's never played against that level of defensive line that and the speed that those guys come at you with the ferocity that they come at you. So it just feels like he just needed. And don't get me wrong, he dealt with it really, really well. There was times in it I was loving it. He was just sat there smirking at the defenders. He was having a good chat. I even saw somewhere that one of the Broncos were actually complimenting Cam Ward on what he did and saying that this guy is going to be really good. But yeah, it was just I just feel like they needed more. They just weren't whatever they're doing at the practice. They weren't ready. They just didn't seem ready in my eyes.
It kind of makes you half wonder, did they? I shouldn't say it's about professional sports guys, but we're all human. Did they go into the game kind of thinking already defeatist in their mind of, oh well, we're not going to beat the Broncos, they're too good. Then when we started playing the Broncos, they weren't as good as we all thought. And then did that catch the Titans off guard? Did that affect their game plan? Possibly. Because like I said earlier, I think that game was definitely winnable for the Titans. Maybe if we'd have played that game 3 or 4 games in, we'd have probably won that possibly because we'd have been a bit more jowled. So were they caught off guard because they weren't as good? I don't know. I mean, I've never been a professional sports person at the age of 42. I'm not going to make it as a professional sports person now because I'm definitely not fit enough for any kind of exercise these days. So yeah, I don't know. It makes you wonder.
Well,
It's just frustrating, isn't it?
well, I mean, after the first couple of plays, it looked awful for us, and then they moved the ball down, and we scored a field goal. And the first drive of the Broncos, they were just passing it. Bo Nix was just passing it any way he liked, and they scored a field goal, I think. But then the defense started playing stronger, and Nix had a lot less uh, success after that. And we were in a position coming into half time. We'd gone 6-3 in a half time. I think that the players would have thought, you know what, we can do this. But after the sort of gut wrench of the end of the first half, you know a bit of panic starts setting in and whatnot. I mean, they started playing a bit, well, more worse than they had been in the first half.
I guess it didn't out for us in the UK. It was a later kickoff for us. So obviously, I felt on Sunday. I don't know if you guys felt the same. Like I posted on the Facebook page. It just felt like we were waiting all day for football. I've seen everyone else was playing games, and I was like, I just want to see the Titans play. I just want Titans football. Why are we waiting till 9 o'clock? We're not even picked for any TV games. So why are we waiting so damn long? It was so frustrating. I think with it being a long day, waiting for football and they had the delay because of that thunderstorm that never happened. I think the game finished about 12:30, didn't it? UK time. So it was a long day, and then to get a bit frustrated with the game, again, it adds to the frustrations, doesn't it? But yeah, there was definitely positives from the game. I think just got to hope now the coaches go away, rewatch the tapes like they do in American football, and just think right, this is where it went wrong, and work on it. And penalties. How many times did we see that yellow flag? And there were stupid penalties all the time as well, weren't they? It was like, come on, guys. I mean, there was one. I can't remember what it was now. He pulled the guy down by the face mask. I think it was in the second half. You know, the guy was just try and pull him down. I think he weren't going to get any
Yeah,
further
that
anyway.
was Hooker who did.
Yeah, it was yeah, and he pulled him by the
Yeah.
face mask, and I was like, "What are you doing? That's a guaranteed penalty straight away." You know,
Yeah.
it's like in a lot of sports, you've got to be clever about how you get like in soccer, you have like tactical yellow cards, and you can kind of foul somebody but make it not look like a foul. It's like you try and con the referee, fine, but when you grab that guy's face mask and yank him down, well, straight away, is it 15-yard penalty in American football?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wasn't
so
that
15
wasn't
yards.
that
It's
Brownlee?
15 yards added on to the
yeah,
end of the.
exactly. So you
And
yanked him down, and you've just lost another 15, and it's like, well, so grab him by the jersey there. If I grab him somewhere, you might still get the penalty. When your fingers are in the face mask, that's it. You asking for trouble, aren't you?
Wasn't that the Brownlee when
The
he
Brownlee
grabbed
was
him
it?
underneath the mask?
oh yeah, he grabbed him by the edge of the
Oh, I
Yeah,
must
helmet.
there
have
was
missed
there
it.
was another one where he grabbed him
Hooker
by the
grabbed him
front.
by the actual grill.
Okay. I missed that. I was unfortunately, I'll admit it, I was flicking between two games. Wife's a Green Bay fan, so I was having to go between the two. I was watching it on a
No, you need two TVs, two TVs.
yeah, I need two
Yes.
TVs to go flick between two. But yeah, I was flicking between two.
Just talking of silly decisions, slightly non-time related. Did you see Tar with his slap against? Is it Trevor Kelsey?
Oh, it's brilliant, wasn't
What up like that? I mean, they said it wasn't ejected because it was an open hand. I'm not being funny. A guy that size with a hand probably 3 times the size of my hand slapping me,
Hmm.
yeah, even wearing a mask, helmet, it's still going to possibly hurt. It's quite aggressive. I was quite shocked when I saw that they didn't eject him. I mean, I would have thought with the Chiefs, because they seem to get a lot of the rub of the green, they would have got the guy ejected for that. But obviously, as we can see, they're losing games now, so the magic's gone from them, and the NFL are probably going to support another team instead, not the Titans, as we know, because we never get the rub of the green, do we? Seen lots of frustrations over the years. So there you go. That's that game spoke about now. We're 0-1. It's over. We move on to the next one. So it's the LA Rams at Nissan Stadium on Sunday. So in the UK, it's a 6 o'clock kickoff. Is that 1 o'clock Nashville time? I think it is.
No, they're an hour. It's 6 hours to
Oh, so
Nashville. So
is it 12
yeah,
o'clock? Is it? Yeah.
it'll be 12
So
o'clock.
obviously, back at home, Nissan Stadium. I'm going to guess the home fans are going to be really looking forward to this. We're going to see a full stadium because we don't always see a full stadium in Nissan Stadium, especially towards the end of the season. It'd be interesting to see this year because the new stadium is going to be in 2 years' time. Are we going to see a lot more fans going to the games? Is it's going to be the last chances to go to Nissan Stadium? I need to win a small amount in the lottery so I can go fly over to Nashville because it's quite expensive, isn't it? I'd like to go to Nissan before we end up with the new Nissan Stadium, but I don't think it's going to happen. So how do you guys think we're going to do against the Rams? Do you think we're going to see improvements? I don't know. Did the Rams win their first game of the season? I didn't check. I should have checked that before, shouldn't I? Really?
Yes, they
Yeah,
did,
they
didn't
did.
they? They won. It wasn't. It was quite close. It wasn't a big score they won by.
Let me see.
I
I
do
was
know
keeping an
that
eye on the scores, but I missed that one.
their is it their left guard and right guard are both questionable as well. Which
I
I
mean,
saw.
I'd be more confident after the performance last week because they certainly won't be playing a team that will be as aggressive on defense as Denver were. So that's a positive, I think.
Yeah, they
And we
beat
could.
the Texans 14-9. So boo to the Texans. We don't like the Texans, do we?
Oh, that's a good result then. No.
So well, it'd be better if we beat the Rams, obviously. So that'd be nice, wouldn't it? So yeah, so they won their first game. So 14. So I'm going to assume with it being 14, they must have won that by 2 touchdowns.
It was
Um,
14-9, wasn't it?
yeah, 14-9. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So so yeah, I was searching for the score then. So I missed what did you guys say? I missed that completely. Then I do apologise.
I was just saying that I feel more confident over the result rather than I did against the Denver Broncos because they don't have a stronger defense as Denver do. So I think if they can eliminate the dumb penalties, because I mean they had far too many in the first game, especially that killed drives. I think we can do better. I mean, hopefully Ridley's going to catch a few balls this next game.
Yeah, just there. I think this offensive line worries me. The only thing I'm going to say, I'm a bit disappointed we've not actually covered the defense. I thought we should actually covered our positives from the game
Yeah.
against the Broncos. We've talked about the negatives. We've
Yes.
gone straight to the LA Rams and was like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Sorry,
Give
I
us
mean
a good point
that's
to
that's
talk
the
about that
problem
game. That
with
defense
modern
was.
sports. We always kind of, when you win, you concentrate on the positives. When you lose, all the positives kind of go out the window, and all you want to moan about is obviously everything went wrong, isn't it? But no, yeah, you're right. The defense did do well. I thought Simmons had a good game. I thought he
I
played
was.
he played very well, didn't he?
I thought
Well,
it was.
until he was caught for his roughing penalty when we should have had the ball back. But yeah, no, the defense did very well because three turnovers from the actual defense plus a special teams recovery. Players seemed to be in the right place at the right time. It was I think it was a pretty good performance. I mean, apart from 150, as I said, for 150-yard run, they kept them reasonably in check because they had quite a few possessions than we did of any length.
Yeah, I think they did really well. Snead wasn't on the pitch for that long either. He was taken off at half time. I guess as precautionary. Um, Thought our corners did well, safety did well. I think it was the first quarter. I was sitting there thinking, "Oh, we're just getting no pressure on this on this offensive line. Bo Nix has got all the time in the world to pass, and he was just putting passes around. He wasn't even pressured. Like there was clear air between him and the offensive line. It was just frustrating, and then suddenly Simmons got a breakthrough, and then we just seemed to get a bit more pressure. Femi got two pressures, I think. Sweat being there stops that run. I think it was an interesting stat about the league average of what the defensive line lets of a run per run or something. And with Sweat in our defensive line, we're like well under. We have like one of the best run protections in the league with Sweat alongside Simmons. But when he's not in there, we have one of the worst, which I found was an interesting stat, which I picked up from the game. But it was good. It was slow moving to start off with, but once they got themselves together, but again, it was like same as last year, wasn't it? Our defense started off really well, and then the offense never really supported them. It just felt again, it was a game where the defense did their job, and it was never backed up by the offense. Apart from Cam Ward, I'm always going to say that. Apart from Cam Ward, everything on that offense was terrible. Apart from Cam Ward and Peter Skoronski, he was quality.
I'm going to assume, James, you're definitely a Cam Ward fan at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah,
To
I
be
am.
fair though, for a
He was
rookie,
good. He
he
was so
impressed.
good on that.
I mean,
He had such bad stat line, but it was actually when you break down on it, and I spent all week trying to like avoid social media because I knew what was going to happen. It was just going to see posts about, oh, Titans have picked another bust, and yeah, Cam Ward's rubbish. It's just Will Levis 2.0. And then you actually filter through that, and you find people who have broken down the game film, and he does look so good. And they're saying it was, and then the stats come out saying he was like the third most accurate QB. I think he'd made one silly mistake when he ran backwards and took the long sack. But
yeah, but with a rookie, well, if I say with a rookie, even with some seasoned pros, you get that, don't you? But with a
yeah,
rookie, you kind of have to expect you are going to get some silly decisions. Just one negative I've got from Cam Ward that worried me a little bit. I don't know if I think it was in the first half. He ran through and didn't pass it, and he ran and he dived head first to get the first down. Do you remember seeing that?
yeah,
Mm.
Yeah, and when he did that, I was like, oh no, we don't want to start doing things like this because you've seen what's happened to Tua over at Miami with all the concussions he's got, and I thought, you know, yeah, slide down with your feet, don't go head first because we don't want concussions at the start of the season. We don't want any players to get any concussions, do we? But obviously, hopefully the team saw that and they're going to have a word about that because, like I say, these are big guys in the NFL, and I wouldn't fancy running into one of them, even with all the pads and habit on. So if that happens. If he got a concussion, is it 2 games they have to miss with a concussion? Is it? I can't remember now. Or was
Well,
it
no,
just the one?
you put on protocol,
Mm.
and then you have to pass. I can't remember, it's Thursday or whatever, that you're free, and then you can play. If you're not, then you can't play on the following Sunday until you get a all clear.
Mm. And,
So
and that's
it's
it. I think
it's not automatic if you get just a concussion that you don't play.
you just got to pass
I think
the.
that's a fault that a lot of rookies have. They tend to go in head first because they're
Mm.
so keen to make first downs and whatnot. They don't slide. As you get a bit more experience, you see older quarterbacks sliding rather than running head first.
That's
what's
it.
the
I
one?
mean, oh, go on.
I was just going to say, with in regards with Cam Ward, it's uh, correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't watch many Miami games last year. I watched a couple. But isn't he a dual threat quarterback? I am pretty sure that lad's pretty good at escaping and running with the ball. I saw a few games where he's run with it, and I don't think we did that one run play where he escaped, but there was no other like quarterback runs. And I just felt he was just sat in the pocket, just kind of teeing off in
Waiting.
a way, just
Yeah.
pass, pass, pass. It didn't seem like they set up anything. They didn't do anything different. It's like there was times where just run with it. Like break off and run with it. Like
Well,
all
yeah.
the other QBs do. People compare him to Mahomes, but Mahomes can do he can stand there and throw it around, but he knows if he sees a gap, he's going for it, and he'll run with it. And I just want to see whether they were being conservative or like holding him back a bit. this is the NFL. You get one chance. At the end of the day, it's a result. It's a results game, and I know these players put their bodies on the line every single game, but you can't hold him back. He can run with that ball, and we should be utilizing that rather than just me. It felt like he was. I'm pretty sure I saw Aaron Rodgers run with the ball more than Karen Ward did, and that's saying something from a 41-year-old quarterback, and we've got a young, promising quarterback.
A 40-year-old quarterback who snapped his Achilles 2 seasons ago.
Yeah,
And I saw him when he played bit at the end of last season for the Jets, and like I say, he had no mobility at all. And I did see some of the Steelers game of the weekend. Um, Kind of wanted them to lose actually. Disappointed when they won, but yeah, he actually played really well. Yeah, he actually looked quite good, and he was quite mobile. And like I say, although Cam's a rookie, and you said he's now in the big league now. I know he's on a rookie contract, but this might be his one. I mean, you look at Levis now. He's had his opportunity. Is he going to stay in the NFL? Probably not. I don't know. So with Ward, that's it. You've got to prove yourself now. You got to get out there and you got to do it. I mean, one of my favorite quarterbacks is Lamar Jackson, and I love the fact that you don't know if he's going to run or throw it. You know,
Well, I watched a lot of when Titans became the number one pick. I watched a lot of Miami games because I've been a fan of Cam Ward since then. He tends to do a lot of moving around, and he can run, but he tends to try and find the pass. So he will slip out of coverage and whatnot, and try and get her out and make a pass. But he does run sometimes, but he's not really a running quarterback.
feels a bit of disappointment there. I thought he was a runner. I just want to. It's the modern days of it's a dual threat. You got to be a dual threat, and I'm a bit. When you look at some of the quarterbacks, the top quarterbacks like Allen, Jackson, Herbert, they run with it, and I think you got to have that element to your game, and
Well, that's it because you've got to give the opposition a problem. Are they going to throw? Because you've got to like move out the way to stop the receivers, but then you can't move out the way if the guy in the middle is going to run through. If you leave the gap there, so you've got to give the opposition something to worry about. So it will be interesting to see if they change what he does. I mean, I'm with you. It'd be nice if they had some different dimensions to the quarterback and something different happening. Especially if the wide receivers aren't getting into the game, then you need those other options because it's all right passing it to Pollard every time, but you didn't get many yards of the game. It's good to pretend to pass it to Pollard, but do the run yourself. It gives something different, doesn't it? I mean, I used to like Tannehill. He used to do it a little bit as well, didn't he? All those runs and stuff, and Mariota would do it as well. So we've seen it before with the Titans. Just need to develop Cam, but I think we need to do it. I don't want to say fast and rush him, but get him going faster. We just want
Well,
to win, don't we?
I think I'd prefer to see him pass the ball first and be able to pass consistently than necessarily bother about whether he runs or not. I'd rather see passing completions, him moving out of the pocket if he has to, but making the completions rather than taking off too early, rather than being sort of a rabbit in the headlights and get stuck
Oh
out
yeah,
on.
but I say we've got to make sure we get the team around him now. That's the problem. We've got to
Yeah.
get that team around him. We've got to get you know, the last couple of years ain't been very good at the Titans, has it? You know, bring back Traylon Burks. That's what I say. But I say, the team's not been great around him, so we've got to build the team around him now. We've got to build on him. Got to give him the right tools. And like I say, you don't want him to be running just because he hasn't got the tools around him. We've got to build this team properly, haven't we? Like I say, we've got the new stadium to go into in 2 years. Did you guys see the videos of the new stadium that Jim White and a few of the guys were sharing the other day?
I've looked recently, actually. No.
Yeah, I'll share them online later. It looks good. I do like Nissan Stadium. I like these old style NFL stadiums. I don't like these big domes and these roof stadiums. I think they don't have the character. But when you see what they're building, it does look good. It looks very impressive. Looks very expensive, so I don't think I'll be able to afford to go there. But yeah, it does look good, and it's the way the NFL's going, isn't it? With these stadiums, they're not just stadiums anymore like Nissan Stadium is. They're
No. It's good.
multiple. They do multiple things. They want to host. I know they keep saying they want to host WrestleMania there, all concerts. They want it to be like a venue to be in Nashville for everything, not just American football, which is good in a way. But don't know. I don't like these stadiums with the roofs on. They're not my cup of tea, unfortunately.
Well, you can't afford to be just at 8 games a year at home, and that's it, or nine. If you've got to get your money's worth out of a stadium. I mean, they're
Well, yeah,
spending a
exactly.
billion on it, so yeah.
But so they just every time they announce a new stadium, it's always like, oh, we're going to build a new stadium with the hope we can host Super Bowl in the next 5, 10 years. Because the Bears have literally just announced they're doing a new stadium, and then
Do you know what? That really annoys me.
we're
They
going to
all
do a
talk
new.
about wanting to host, don't they? It's like, don't host it. I want you to win the damn thing. You
uh,
know, I don't want to host two of the teams in the stadium. I want the Titans to win it. I don't care where they win it. Just win it anywhere. Forget about hosting the damn thing. Let's just win the thing. But yeah, you were just saying the Bears, were they saying the same, were they?
Yeah, they said that their plan was to host the Super Bowl. And it's always like it just seems the way to go is to get a new stadium and then you get to host a Super Bowl. I mean,
Mm.
Nashville's probably we're obviously all biased, but it's probably one of the best cities in America for just for atmosphere.
Mm.
Everyone always talks about the draft that was in Nashville, saying it was one of the best drafts, and just because of the amount of people that were there, the atmosphere that was there, everything they did with it, it's just a perfect city for hosting big events, isn't that really?
Yeah, I don't like this. At the end of the day, it's kind of move it around the NFL. At the end of the day, if Nissan Stadium was a stadium today as it is, could host NFL games, why can't it host the Super Bowl? I know it's not big, I know it's not fancy, I know it hasn't got all the corporate events, but 30, 40 years ago, these stadiums still had Super Bowls and they didn't have these big fancy stadiums. They were just stadiums. I know modern sports all about money these days, how much money they can make, but at the same time, it's moving around the stadium. You can't teams can't keep building $2 billion stadiums just to host the Super Bowl and hope they get WrestleMania and a Taylor Swift concert. It's I know they need to be there for the things, but it just seems a bit crazy, really. Just all this money being spent on a stadium to host one major game. It's insane, really, isn't it? So but that's the NFL for you. That's modern sports for you, unfortunately. It's what we've just got to live with going forward. Right, so I think we're running out of time here. We're down to the
What
last
about result then?
minute.
What do you think about the result then? I think they might win, maybe by 7.
I said 31-7 last time, so I'm not too sure. I was thinking, I was thinking 17-7 to the Titans. 17, is that possible? Score 17-7? Yeah, it
I
is,
think
isn't
any score above about 5 points is possible.
it? Oh, yeah, I think we're going to win 17-7. I think we are going to concede a touchdown, but I think defensively we're going to be strong again, and offensively we're going to get those touchdowns. James, what are your thoughts?
I'm going to stick with my theory of our season don't start until week 3. Um, if we're in within a score, I'll be happy again. I think for me, I just want to see the offense kind of roll a bit more. With this, for me, this season, I'm not too bothered about what we do. It doesn't bother me. We ain't going to make the playoffs. We ain't going to win it. So I'm not bothered. I just want to see the team play
Be
well, and I want
competitive.
to see Cam Ward do well. So I think we lose. However, the injuries they've had, I do feel slight. There's a slight chance, but uh, yeah, I'm gonna take a one-score loss.
Cool. Right, I think we've got about 15 seconds left to go here. So listen, guys, thanks for joining me again. Obviously, we'll do this again next week once we go 1-1 and beat the Rams, because that's obviously quite clearly what's going to happen because it's 2 against 1 here. So thanks for joining us. Obviously, everyone join us on TikTok, Twitter, or X we call it these days, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Let's spread the word of the Titans, especially the Titans fans in the UK. We're trying to find more. They're out there somewhere. We're going to find them. And yeah, hope you enjoy the podcast.
Cheerio.
Bye.
Cheers.